Like, it's not, I don't think that every person is the right father figure.
Then why are you sleeping with these men?
Bang! Bang! It's good!
Welcome to the Do Better Podcast. I'm your host, Theo Coop, and we are back with another video. And in this video, we're going to be reacting to The Lead Attorney. Shout out to The Lead Attorney, by the way. And in this particular video, The Lead Attorney is talking to a young lady who believes that a mother should automatically have more parental rights than the father of a child, or for no more than the mere fact that she carried the child to term and gave birth to the child. That's why she believes a mother should always have more parental rights than the father. And she has a discussion with the lead attorney. You know what I thought about before watching this? Who would want to have a debate with a professional attorney? But thank goodness for our own entertainment, she's not aware of that. So let's go ahead and start the video. And hold up, before we do, look, man. We struggle streaming over here at the Do Better Podcast. I ain't gonna lie, the whole crew know, but we back here. We're a small entity, but we working together to put together a great podcast for our viewers. And I said all that to say this, man, we struggling out here. Your boy get a like, you hit the notification bell, do something, subscribe, it's free. It ain't gonna cost you nothing, bro. But anyway, let's get back to the video.
And how hard it was, like, to go through it. We ended up going for like a year and a half, and we started when my son was only 3 weeks old, and it took that long for it to go through the whole cycle. The longer it plays out, the more it strains you. And I feel like some of it may be like punishing you in a sense to, like, you know, you should be able to solve it and just come together and then file the paperwork saying like, oh, this is our agreement, more than like letting the courts decide the agreement. I felt like I was being punished. And
shit, that should be with everybody. If that's the case, hell, I agree with her in theory. Every case should be like that, but yeah. Like
the Montgomery County courts, ultimately.
Why did you feel like you were being punished?
Well, I felt like I was being punished because like they scrutinized everything about me. Like I had to bring my report card because I was like fresh out of high school. I had to bring my report card to prove that I was a good student. Like they won't, like the court.
Fresh out of high school in a paternity case, a custody case. Ding, 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 ding. Teenage mother alert. Teenage mother alert. Yeah, no, I'm, Theo Coopy on that. Jesus.
Court ordered me to bring that to prove that I was a good person for my son. I had to,
wait. You had a child, and was this like a divorce?
It wasn't even a divorce. We never lived together. We never.
So you never lived together, and he was fighting for custody.
He was fighting for custody against me.
And you had to bring your report card.
I was ordered to bring my report card because I had graduated that June. Went through the whole school system. Like I'm a good person. We and him just really want like visit. We want to have somebody help facilitate visitation. Because we don't get along. So they were like, oh, we need proof that you actually went to the school. So I had to bring my diploma and my report card to prove that I was.
So them asking you to prove that you had graduated, you felt like that was an unfair level of scrutiny?
I felt, because I thought it was unfair level of scrutiny because it was some of the things that happened for me didn't apply to him. Some of the things that I had to provide proof, since I was the primary person who had the child, he didn't have to provide.
That's probably because you had primary custody of the child. I mean, that's just an assumption from the outside looking in.
Back to PG to go get his documents. He didn't have to prove where you lived, your routine, what was the schedule that you had. Like there was so much things that I had to figure out and do. And I felt like overall, I felt like I was punished because I didn't want to settle with me having every other week with my child. And my child's only 7 weeks old.
Okay, yeah. So you're saying that the courts wanted you to do like a every other week. So the courts wanted you to do 50-50.
Yeah,
you didn't want. Okay,
yes.
But you didn't want to do 50-50. You wanted. No. Okay, and you felt like because the courts.
One of the ways that you can end a lot of these child support custody disputes is automatically make it 50-50. Like that should be the automatic rift. It should be 50-50 across the board. The fact that they have this child is so young and they're already battling for custody, man. I would like to know a little bit more on that background and figure out why that exactly is the way that it is.
Want it 50-50. And You didn't want 50-50. You wanted to live with your child. You felt like you were punished.
Yes, I do feel like I was punished overall because it felt like I had to fight harder what he says about me, but also to push that I'm the best person, I'm the best person, I'm the best person. And
Well,
I think that's really
let me just ask
hard.
you, wait. Let me jump in for a second. Why should you not have to prove that you are the best person? Right? I assume that it's just your child, half of your DNA is in this child, right?
Yes.
But half of his DNA is in this child, right?
Yes.
Half of your chromosomes, half of his chromosomes. Why should you not have to prove that you are the best parent if you want this child to live with you the majority of the time? Why shouldn't you prove that? Why is that not rational to say, hey, you need to prove this stuff?
Random. But you know what Theo Coop doesn't do? Debate attorneys in my time off. Like in my spare time, go around debating attorneys, man. They fight for a living, bro.
I think it's so rational because for 9 months, I was the person that took care of the child. I was, I provided my body for this child.
Wait, hold up now. When you say the 9 months, are you talking about the 9 month pregnancy when the child was inside of you?
Like I provided that, like, because I chose to have this child. I chose to take care of this child. I did not want
listening to this.
I did not.
I hear it, Lee.
Not really want to be with this person anymore. I wanted my child and I wanted to move forward with my life. And the fact of the matter is that I took off work to take care of this child.
It's part of being a parent.
Be it going to the doctor's appointments, all the necessary things. The child came out healthy, came out full term, all these things. I did all of the things I needed to do. The proof is in the pudding with the child. It isn't like I had a record of, you were a bad person, you had these type of records or anything like that. That's what I'm saying. Like sometimes it feels like you're always having to fight harder. And then also I think for me in this situation, I feel really bad for the guy because I could only imagine.
I actually feel bad for the dude, but she didn't want to give him 50-50. I'm sorry, but.
Stop the cap. Why you always lying?
What are we talking about here?
What? I do. Like
you feel bad.
No, literally. Can you let me finish? I just wanted to make
but you're contradicting yourself. So I just want to make sure that everybody's following what you're talking about.
Okay.
Right? Because I want to hear what you have to say, but there are 4,000 people in here, so we need to kind of figure out what you're talking about.
Okay.
You're saying if the child is half of yours and half his, do you think that just automatically because of these 9 months that you're talking about, that the mother should be given the child and the father should have visitation because of these special 9 months when your body carried the child? You think you should get an advantage because of these 9 months you kept mentioning?
Yes, I do believe that there should be an advantage for that. I do.
And boom goes the dynamite.
That's a childish way of thinking. And it is obviously a selfish way of thinking, but it's childish.
Because at the end of the day, if he wanted to be a part of those moments, he could have came to those doctor appointments just as much as I did. Mm-hmm. He could have been a part of those things. So I just feel like you can't give me my credit for what I do, when the other person is absent during those time periods.
But here's the thing about that. She said earlier she chose to have that child. When you choose to be a parent, those are the decisions you make, regardless if the person is going to be with you or not. And also, please be advised, we're only hearing her side of the story. So what she's saying very well may be true, or it could be all cap. We don't know, and I'm sure
it's 9 months. But I did say that if you wanted to be involved, he could have went to these appointments. He could have been involved in these things, and
we have no idea. Like I said, I'm not trying to make excuses for this dude. He could be a scumbag, but then again, that means that she chose to get pregnant by a scumbag. But we have no idea.
You were upset that he would not attend these prenatal visits with you, but then once the baby was born healthy, he wanted 50-50 custody. But you felt like that was unfair because he did not go to the prenatal visits with you.
And here's the thing, a guy should be there in that situation, but if we're not married, if we're not together, a man isn't obligated to be there for those appointments. He should, You know, if he's a decent enough dude, he should be there, but he's not obligated to go there.
I feel it's unfair. I feel it's unfair.
So
Yeah, I know how I feel about the word fair.
let's just kind of push this out to other people now, because if you feel it's unfair to you, it would be unfair to everybody else. Should there be a rule that fathers who do not go to the prenatal visits do not get 50-50 custody?
Yes, because if you're saying that, especially with times now, what you're saying, life starts at conception, they should be a part of that life. They should be a part of those steps. They should be held responsible for all of those things as well.
What about those situations in which the woman doesn't want the father anywhere near her or near the child? What about those situations? Because people fall out between getting pregnant and those 9 months to have the child. People fall out. Exhibit A.
Not just not just at the end when the child comes out and now you're like, oh, well, I'm going to take 50-50. No, I've put in work on this. I've taken sick leave for this. I've taken all these different things. So I don't.
Let me ask you, do you think a child needs a father?
Yes, I do believe a child needs a father.
Does a child benefit from having the father in the child's life?
A child does benefit from having a father figure in their life.
Because what I just hear you say is me. I did this and I did that.
Just talking like she's the only parent. Unfortunately, a lot of women think that a father could never be as good of a parent as the mother. But not only that, they feel like they can't even be close to it. Or the thought of a child being protected or being provided for by solely a father is just something that their little bullshit brains can't even fathom. A lot of women legitimately think men can't be decent parents, or it has to be the mother and the mother only. Like, what are we talking about here?
And I did this and I did that.
Get her lead.
I'm hearing though, you're not talking about the goddamn child. What does your child need?
I forgot he went that hard on this.
You keep talking about what you did, but what about your child? Why are you putting you above your child? That's what I can't understand.
Get her lead.
You say that your child needs the father, but then because he didn't but because he didn't show up to the visits, now your child doesn't get those same benefits. Your child gets less valuable time with the father because he didn't show up to your visits. But the child is missing out.
I don't feel that the child missed out overall. The child is.
You just said that a child benefits from time with the father.
I didn't say a father.
I had to catch myself. I'm about to say exactly. I feel like a lead attorney now. You just said.
I want the truth.
I said a father figure, and the father figure. I did say a father figure.
Jesus.
Hit the air horn before you leave.
Jesus Christ, are you guys listening to this bullshit? So like an uncle.
He doesn't need a father. He doesn't need the father, but he needs a father figure. Ain't that about a bitch, man? I swear, they do not care about fathers, man. We ain't shit. In their little twisted minds, man, fathers are not shit.
An uncle could be a father figure, right?
Yep. He had his uncles. He had my father. And he was able to, move forward in his life. Like, I don't think that every person is the right father figure.
Then why are you sleeping with these men?
Bang! Bang! It's good!
Why are you creating children with these men if they're not the father figures?
Well,
why don't you just sleep with your uncle? I mean, it's.
That was good, Lee. Why did you sleep with your uncle?
Doesn't make any sense.
So I went ahead. I did not know that person was going to be like that when that happened. And then as things went on.
You didn't know he wasn't going to show up to the visits?
That's why you don't get pregnant and have a baby when you're a goddamn teenager. You don't fucking know shit, man. Jeez. I'll at least give it to her. She was 18 out here. But you have women that's on Mr. Samuel's show that's 20 years older than her still say the same thing. Oh, I didn't know he was like this. I didn't know. Like, get the fuck out of here. I'll give her that. At least she was 18. But even still, it's not a good enough fucking excuse. You shouldn't be having fucking babies when you're a teenager, man. Sorry.
Is that what you're talking about?
I did not know it was.
Let me get this straight. You slept with this dude and didn't know he was going to show up for the visits. And now that he doesn't show up for the visits, now your child doesn't need him. Now your child just needs a father figure. Your father, for example, or the uncle, for example.
And her father, no offense to her, that don't sound like he did a good job because your daughter's pregnant and is a teenager.
Yep. And we've moved on perfectly. We've moved on. Now I'm happily married. Okay. He has a beautiful step.
I think I'm gonna move on. I
think she said she got married too at the end. That's the end of the video. As I stated earlier, man, my overall opinion is this. Custody should be automatically 50-50 across the board. That would eliminate a lot of this child support nonsense custody battles. If it's split down the middle, it'll alleviate all that. And then the parents should be able to work within those confines themselves. But too many people, man, they want to run to the government. And a lot of the times, the vast majority of the time is women for multitude of reasons, not just only child support, but just, hey, you're not going to be with me. So now I'm going to put you through some shit because I have the power to do so, man. I just think fathers are just so discredited in this country, man, especially black fathers. You know, that's taking it to a whole nother level. But just fathers in this society is just, we're so discredited, man. Like, we're not needed for a child, man. Like, you need mothers, but fathers are optional. Whatever, man. You're needed. Fathers are needed, man. And I refuse to let people say otherwise, especially to boys, man. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong, but this is your boy Theo Coop. I'll see you guys in the comments. After party. Do better.